Take it from somebody who's done this before. Going to college after serving in the military is no easy task, but it can be done. Hey, I'm Dr. Harry McCleary, licensed clinical psychologist and Navy veteran. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to survive that first semester in college.
Oh, back to school, back to school.
When I tell people that I used to be in the Navy, often people think that I used to be an officer, which I guess is a compliment, but that's not the case. The first time I stepped foot in the college classroom is when I got out of the military. And I didn't go to a big university. My first stop was a community college in Cartersville, Georgia, called Georgian Highlands. Shouts out to Georgian Highlands College. That's where I made my start. Obviously, I have some letters after my name, so I went to some school after that. But whether you're transitioning from the military to a community college, to a trade school, to med school, it doesn't matter. That transition from military service member to student, and civilian student at that, is going to be rough. But it can be done. And if you follow these 5 tips, it'll make life a lot easier on you. I came into the college experience pretty confident. I said, you know what? I've been on deployment. I've been in the Navy for 6 years. I mean, what are you going to do to me? This is a community college. And you know what the first thing they did to me? Stuck me in a remedial math class. My first tip for you, to humble yourself. This is a hard reality, but you are a beginner again. But you do have a lot to offer, which goes into my next tip. Embrace civilian ignorance. I will admit that I'm a little bit of an optimist. So when students, when professors say stuff about the military that seems off or even offensive, I like to think that they just don't know any better. And it's part of my job to educate them. In the classroom, you may be the only veteran. You may be one of a few. But you are the subject matter expert on the military. You are the person that has actually lived that life. And it would behoove your peers for you to educate them a little bit about what that life actually means. So when a topic comes up about the military that seems a little bit off, here's what I encourage you to do. I got a comment. Actually, in my experience, I don't think that's, totally correct. That sounds offensive to the veterans. Are you sure that's what you meant? If you're liking this content, consider clicking that like button. If you want to learn more about PTSD or military culture, consider subscribing to my channel. My third tip for you is to manage your expectations regarding your peers, regarding your fellow students. This is going to be hard. During my first week of college, I got my mind blown. We had an assignment, and I show up the next day with my assignment, like you should. And about half the class hadn't done their homework. And the teacher seemed to not even really care that much. I just sat there in my front row, which is where I like to sit. I don't like any distractions around me. And I almost threw a chair through the wall. I didn't realize that that was even a thing. You're saying that you're paying money to be in this class and you're not going to do your homework? Sorry, it still kind of pisses me off. 2 things that are big in the military are being on time and accountability. And you may be shocked that those standards aren't kept in the classroom. If you put those military expectations of accountability and being on time on your civilian peers, you may be setting yourself up to get disappointed. My next tip for you is to focus on the mission. Focus on the end goal. Whether that end goal is finishing this class, whether that end goal is getting a good grade in this class, whether that end goal is graduating with your associate's degree, your master's degree, your PhD, your certificate, whatever it is, focus on that goal and focus on yourself. This is hard when you come from a team in the military. Focusing on yourself and putting yourself first may be something that's totally foreign for you. But in the school, this is what's important. Getting your homework done, getting your assignments done, showing up for class on time because for you, not for anybody else. Focusing on what you want to accomplish. My last tip for you is to find the other veterans. Now, there may not be a whole lot of veterans in your class or maybe even in your school, but I can almost guarantee you that there's at least one other. Now, I'm not saying you have to be best friends with that person, but that person might can help you on navigating being in college once again. They may be an upperclassman. They may be somebody who has navigated the GI Bill before or for many years and knows the ins and outs of it. Those people are going to be incredibly important as both people with knowledge and people to support you. But here's a hidden tip. What I don't want you to do is just talk to veterans. As it turns out, there's some decent civilians out there. Civilians that will also support you, also equip you with knowledge, also be your lab partner, and believe it or not, that civilian sometimes might even be a little bit better, a little bit smarter than that veteran student that you might have met later on. Just a tip. If you limit yourself to only socializing or talking to other veterans and not other civilians, you may be limiting yourself on knowledge that you may have not gotten, of support that you may have not gotten. Civilians, believe it or not, can do you some good because you're a civilian now. Uh-oh. Something to think about. If this video was helpful for you, please like it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to learn more about PTSD and military culture. But more important than that, if this video was helpful for you, that means it can probably be helpful for another veteran. So I ask that you share it with them. Share it with another veteran. Share it with another friend or family member of a veteran. Because at the end of the day, that's really what all this is about. One veteran trying to help another.